Hello happy people, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Krabes Major, and if this is not your first time, welcome back. In this video we are going to continue with where we left in part 7. So this is going to be part 8, and we are going to echo or to display our content on the front page of our WordPress, and we are going to use flexible content as we already did on the backend. So in the meantime, you can Google ACF Flexible Content, and then it will take you to this page, and this is a code that we are going to use from here up to there. We are going to use this code to display our flexible content on the front page. So in the meantime, go ahead and copy this code and put it on your front page.php, because we are going to utilize this code, and I'll see you on the inside. Alright, so there we go. So this code says, in fact, let me go back to our ACF. Alright, so there we go. You can see it checks for a flexible content, whether it exists. So this will be the name of our flexible content. And then if it exists, flexible content, it loops through all flexible content row. So the first one, it also checks for a layout. So the first row will be this one. In this case, it's a paragraph, and then it shows what's inside that paragraph. And if there's another row, it's going to loop for that row and then give it the name of the row and then loop through that row. I hope this makes sense. So let's go back to our code editor. So inside our code editor, we need to check for a flexible content name. So our flexible content name was this one. It's called flexible content right there. So let's replace this, because it checks for flexible content and then it has to loop through flexible content. So there we go, and then we paste it, and then now it looks for the row. So this one, it has the row of paragraph. We have the row called, let's go back, open here. We have the row called info cards. So the name of that row is info cards, which is this one. And then we copy that. We go back to flexible content and put it right here. And then if this exists, this code needs to echo something right here, same as this one. So you can see here it says do something. Let's copy that. So it's a comment. So here we'll say, we'll add our own comment. We'll say echo info cards, right? And remove this. And then we can put a placeholder code, and then that code will just say echo, and then we close. Again, it will look for else if. So another row, do we have another row? So if this row doesn't exist, it's gonna go and echo this one. But if both of them exist, it will echo both of them. So another row will be, let's close this row. So another row will be this about us, and the name is about us. So copy that, go back here, and then we put about us right there. And we can copy the comment, and then just below it we say echo about us information. We also have another else if. What we do, we copy here, and then we copy an else if, this and if. So I think it will be best if we do this so that our code will be readable. Right now we are looking for another else if, and then go down here. So another row is called slides, and then I'll copy the comment and then paste that. Here we are echoing slides. And then we also have another row. So we continue with else if until we get all the rows. So we continue with else if, and then I'll copy the comment and then put this one here. And we are looking for after slides, what we have CTA, which is call to action. So there we go. We put the CTA right here, and then here I'll say echo call to action. Here will be CTA, call to action. Alright, so we have echoed everything. So now we have end if. So we have came to the end of our else if. So we have hit end if, and then we have else. So under else, if this doesn't apply, so we echo something. So here I'll say, let me put like an echo statement. So I'll say echo, and then the message will be no flexible content found, and then we close. So right now, if we go to our front end, I'm expecting to see this message: info cards, about us information, slides, call to action. So let us save this and go to our front end. Let us view, and there we go. So you can see now we have info cards, there we go, and then we have about us, and then we have information, about us information, and then slide, call to action. So our code is working. So what we need to do, we need to replace what is on front end with what comes here. Earlier on, I've showed you this function that we can use to organize our code. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to utilize this function in here so that we can have a clean, readable code. So I'll go back to our template part and add a new folder. So that folder, I'll call it Flexible Content. So inside of it, I'm going to put all the codes for info cards, codes for information and everything. So I'll put the first file. So that file I'll call FC, stand for Flexible Content, and it's going to be info cards, and then it's a PHP file. And then after that, we are looking for about us. So I'll add another file. No, inside this one. So I'll add another file. So I'll say it's FE, and then this one will be about.php. And we also have slides. So I'll go back right here and add another file, FC, and then that's for slides, and then it's a PHP file. And let's go back. The last one is CTA. So inside Flexible Content, and then it's FC and CTA, and then it's a PHP file. I'll come back here, and then from school start, I know this is our info cards, so I'll collapse everything. So I'll copy this and then cut, and then go back to our Flexible Content files. So I'm looking for info cards. So I'll paste the link of info cards right here. And then let's go back here, and then we have about us from start to end. I'll cut that, and then we go back to about file, and then paste the code right here. And that follows by our this is slides. So I'll cut that and then go to our slides, which is this one, paste the code, and then the last one will be our CTA, or call to action. So I'll cut this and then go to CTA and then paste. So right now, let me save everything. So I'll save this one, then save that, right, and then I'll also save this one. So now if we go back to our front end, so wherever there is this placeholder text, I'm going to call these files that I've just created using the function getTemplatePath. So let me copy this function. All right, so now I can just come here and replace this text with our function. Okay, so I'll paste that. So now we have our function right here. So this one for info card, it calls for template path. So instead of this, we are looking for a folder called flexible. In fact, in all of them, Visual Studio Code, I can do this, and then now I'll write the path. So the path, it's inside template path, which we have, and then we are calling for this folder, which is called flexible content, and then it's flexible content, and then / we are looking within FCC. So I'll say FC, and then dash, and then the name. So right now I'm not going to use this last part, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. So right here we are calling for info cards, which is, where is it? Info cards here. So say info cards. So we are calling for info cards. In this one we are calling for about, so it will be about.php. And then right here we are looking for slides, so it will be slide, and then the last one will be CTA. So right now we can save this file and then go to front end. So you remember we replace this text with the actual HTML code. So let's refresh. There we go. So now we can see that we have our cards, we have our info, and then we have our slides, and then there are working our slides, and then we have this. Now you can see that we have our section there, our info cards are here, and also our about us, and our slides are there, and call to action is there. But you can see that this is hard coded, it's not using ACF. So let's go back to our code, and then the first part, it will be this one, our info cards. We have to make it flexible. We need to make it in such a way that it uses flexible content. All right, so there we go. You can see that this is hard coded, and this is our info cards. So let us look for a repeater code. So this is a repeater, so you can see that this repeats itself, and then what we can do is that we can delete the other three code, the other list item, and we are left with this one. And then inside here we need to write a code for a repeater, and then we did that in our hero slider. You still remember we had our repeater code here for code. So I'll copy this because this is for repeater, and then we go to our info cards. So on top here we can put that if. All right, so we are looking for if statement. So if our info cards, so let's go and look for our info cards. So the name of our info cards is this one, even though we gave it some unique name there. So info cards, then let us put it there, replace with this one, and then we need to loop through the list item, and let's go here. So this is a while loop, so we need to loop through those items. So put the code right here, and then it's a PHP code. We need to close it because we have HTML code. So open space. So let us look for the repeater here, the name of our repeater. What did we name it? And we name it cards, so it's going to be cards. So I'll open this. So there's cards. All right, put it right here. This is a start of an if statement. Okay, so this is a start of a loop. We need to end the while loop somewhere here. So say open PHP and say end while. There we end while, then we close, and then here we have the start of if, and then at the end of this we end if. So open PHP and then we write end. So end if, which is that one, and then we close. We have ended our while loop right here. Now we need to give the variable. We need to come up with a variable for the image, for the heading and the description. Our variables, you give it any name, so I will say image, and then we are looking for get subfield because these are subfields. So get subfield, and then the name of the subfield, we close, and another variable will be for heading. So I'll say heading, then you get the subfield. The last one will be for description, so I'll call this text area. In fact, I'll just call it text, and then you get the subfield. There we go. And then let us go and look for the name of this. So the name of an image is an image, for the heading is heading, and description is description. Here we are looking for image, and then right here is a heading, and then for the text will be description. You need to go and replace those. So for image, which is here, so I'll remove this, and then we'll put PHP, and then we echo a variable called image, and then it's an array. We are looking for a URL, and then we close PHP, and then here it's an alt text. So for alt text, we're gonna do PHP, and then we echo an image, variable of image, because this variable, it has a lot of information inside of it. So it has an URL and also an alt text. So I'll put an alt text for the alt text of this. All right, so right now let us put the heading right here, and then we put the description. I'll open PHP on both sides, going to be PHP, and then we are echoing a text field called heading. So it's heading, and then we close PHP. But right here under text or P tag, we are not looking for a heading, we are looking for text. So I'll change this to text. So there we go, and then we can save this. Let's go back to our front end. So remember, here we have images and then this text. So let's refresh, and then that's not found. So what happened? Okay, let's go back and look at this. So our cards are not showing. Let's go back to our code and see what's going on. All right, so here we wrote info cards. So that's not info cards. Remember, info cards, it's our layout name. So we need to change this to cards. I believe this was cards. Let's go to our flexible content. Yeah, so here we go. We have our layout name, it's info cards, but our repeater field name is cards. So we need to look through cards instead of info cards. Let's go back to front end and refresh this. There we go. So now you can see that we have our info cards are showing. The other part will be our about us. Just need to make this load using ACF. Let's go to about. This one we have already entered, and then we are looking for field, the field image, heading, text area, and button text, and also button link. So let's go to our code. So now we've done with that one. We are going to our about. If we come to about, we need to write our variables like on top here. So open PHP. The first one was an image, so we'll say image, and then get subfield, and then that will come here. And then the other variable was title, was our title, and then get subfield, and then the name of our subfield. All right, so I'm just gonna copy this and then paste, I think 3 times. So the other one will be text area. So here it will be text area, and then the other one will be button text, and then the last one will be button link. So BTN link. Let's go and get the name of this subfield. Let us replace this. So I'm just going to replace everything where it should be. So I've highlighted everywhere where I need to replace those hard-coded text, and I'll echo a variable called image. And then for image, we are looking for a value called URL, and then we close the PHP. So there we go. So right now we can go in each and every PHP and fix. So here it will be alt text, and then here the field will be a heading, our heading or our title. So echo title right here. All right, so here this is our WYSIWYG editor, you still remember? So I'm going to remove everything below this and then remove this P, because WYSIWYG editor comes with its own HTML. This will be text area, and then this will be our button. Our button, we are looking for BTN. The first one will be link, and then followed by BTN text. Let's save this. Let's go to our front end. I'm not sure if we did this one, but let's refresh. There we go. So you can see the image that we have entered, and then there we go. It says learning platform. So this is supposed to be a lowercase L, about us. Right, so that will be platform. And then I'll update this, collapse that, and collapse this. The other field is going to be our slider. So our slider, which is this one, and then let's go to our slide. Now we can close this, come to our slide, and then our slide, it's a repeater. It uses a repeater field, so the same as our info cards. Now let us look for a code that will repeat itself, and then I can tell that it's going to be the list item. So this is going to repeat itself. So what do? We delete this one, and then we leave one of the list item that we can work with. There we go. And on top here, we are putting PHP if statement to check PHP, and then we are checking the if statement. So we can just copy what we have here, copy from our hero, then let's put it right there. PHP, we are looking for slide, so let's go back, and then to our field, we are looking for our repeater field. It's a slide, so we are looking for this one. So that will be slides, somehow is the same name. And then here we have our title. So this title is it's not inside this. So for this case, let me cut this one, and then I'll put our repeater field right here. This one we can simply call that subfield. So we say PHP echo, and then we say get subfield, and then the name of that subfield, then close our brackets, close PHP. So let us look for the name of this one, slider heading. So copy the slider heading, and then we put it inside here. And then this is H1, which is wrong. I'll put this as H2, because we don't need H1 inside our page. So there we go. We have if statement for repeater, and then now we are looking for a while loop. So while loop will be there. Okay, so while loop, so PHP, but in this case I can do this and close there, and then close PHP. Our repeater field is called slide. Let me close here, and then put this, and then here I'm going to end the while loop, end while loop here. But before I close PHP, I will end the if statement right here. And then now I can close PHP. Inside of this, I'm going to write my variables inside here because I'm still inside PHP. So the first variable I'm going to write, it will be the title, and also we forget the link of this title, but it's fine, you know how to add your own link. I'll say title, and then we are looking for get subfield, and then we are looking for a description, so I'll call this a text area. Alright, so let me copy this and duplicate everything, and then the number of students, and then the fees. Right here I'll say students, and down here I'll say fees. And then now we can come here and replace the image and also replace the alt text. So let's open PHP, and then we echo image. For somehow I did not put image there, so it's image, and then the value that I'm looking for is URL, and then we close PHP. So here I'll need alt text, and then let's add an image as a variable, get subfield. You can go back and look for the name of these subfields. Okay, let us look for the name of this subfield right here. So we have image slider or image slide as a subfield, so this one will come here. And then we have heading, text area, hashtag student. For this one will be heading. Let's come here on the heading. So open PHP echo, and then in this case we are echoing a variable called title. Then we close PHP, and then right here this will be our text area. PHP echo text area, and then we close PHP, but somehow. And then under student we are looking for this number. Open PHP also, and then we echo a variable called students, and then we close PHP, and then here we are looking for the fees, so the price, and it's a number. So open PHP echo variable called fees, then we close PHP. Alright, so that's how it should be, I guess. And then let us preview this on the front end. There we go, we have our learning area which is working, and we have our slides. So you can see that our slides are working, and then you can see even the student number is 40, yes, 30, 12, and then the fees are different. This shows that we are utilizing ACF. And then this one is going to need our HTML. For some reason this text is not visible. You have to fix this using HTML. So let me show you how to fix that with HTML. So I'll go here and enter an inline HTML, and I'll say color, and then I'll put it white. Let's save this here, refresh. There we go. So you can see now it's visible. Now our slider are not properly aligned, and that's because of this CSS code that come with underscore. So if I remove everything from here and comment everything, so in fact I'll just come here from these comments. So please make sure that this one you leave it as it is, because WordPress is looking for this information. So but anything from here going down we can remove because we don't need it. And then we save, and I'm sure this will be properly aligned. There we go. All right, so you can see that now it's properly aligned. So I've removed that extra CSS code that came with underscores. Looking at the template, you can now see that we are on this part, and we have made sure that our slider are aligned as our template. And now we are left with this part, which is our call to action. In the next video, we are going to work on this section. Click on this button. It pop-ups a YouTube video, and then we also have a gallery, a photo gallery, something very important to learn. And then the other part will be our testimonial, and also another call to action. And then we have our teachers. And the last part will be our blog. This won't be part of flexible content, but I'm going to show you how you can display your blog or your 3 most latest blog on your front page. There's a lot to be learned. In the next video, we are going to complete our project, and I believe you'll have learned a lot in this series. I'll see you on the next video. And if you find this series or this video helpful, please make sure that you subscribe, you like, you comment, and click on the bell notification so that when next time I release a new video, you'll be the first to be notified.